Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back. This is the final review of Eddie Ortega's Wild Bunch series. Today's cigar is maybe the biggest one he's made. This is the Crazy Jack, and it is crazy big. This cigar is 7 by 58. There is Mr. Crazy Jack. There is your density, and it is a dense one. This cigar, I actually thought when I saw it in the box was a Maduro. It is so dark. Look how dark it is. It's actually a Nicaraguan Habano from Esteli. The binder and filler are Nicaraguan from Esteli and Jalapa. Now this is a very dense cigar. It feels as heavy as it looks, and it's very well made. I like the slight oiliness to the wrapper. This is the December cigar from the Wild Bunch series, so last in the series, and I have reviewed every one of them. You can find them all on the blog. I'll probably try to compile all of them as far as scores and what have you into the blog, so look for that. So let's get right to it. The Crazy Jack, and the size of this is called the Psycho. Alrighty, let's get right to it. A little bit of a firm draw there. Okay. One thing you can do if you have a firm draw, and this is such a fat cigar, is you can take it around the very top, gently squeeze, just to loosen up that cap a little bit. Everything bunched in there so tight. Then give it another test, and it works fine. So let's try that yourself. Works. All right, here we go. Big, big, big cigar. It's a job just toasting the foot there. It's quite a big cigar to light. What a very interesting mix of flavors I'm getting here, and they're very good. Let me try to describe it. It's a very sweet pink grapefruit, and that's exactly what it tastes like, with some cinnamon notes and graham cracker notes. I'll let that sink in for a minute. That's exactly what it tastes like. Now it has a large amount of what appears to be red pepper. Again, if you remember right back just a few weeks ago, I did the October cigar from Eddie, and it was amazing, and it had a lot of red pepper. This cigar also has red pepper, is what it seems like at the first here. There's a touch of leather. The pepper I would rate, speaking of pepper, at about an 8. That's sort of the initial flavors, the way it hits you, and actually, in all honesty, it took about a 1/4 inch to get those, a quarter to close to a 1/2 inch. This is going to be a very long cigar. This is going to be a very long real time to smoke this cigar. I mean, you're talking about 7 by 58. But I'll enjoy it because those flavors are starting out great. Let's see where we go from here. Crazy Jack Psycho. Nice opening game flavors. Well, we're about 3/4 to almost an inch in. Give you an idea how slow this cigar is burning. That's 20 minutes. We've lost some of the sweet pink grapefruit notes. Actually, we've lost quite a bit of them. There's now in their place, there's a nutmeg type flavor There is still the graham flavor, and just the slightest hint of a straight grapefruit type citrus. But predominantly you have the nutmeg and graham. And there is still quite a bit of earthiness, and the pepper is still very good. The finish is really rather simple. It's just sort of a sweet cream. And there are very powerful, long, pleasing finishes. There are mediocre finishes, and then they're very light, almost dry. This is on par of a medium. You don't get a ton of flavor there. There is some nice lingering pepper, however. So within the first inch, 3/4 to an inch, it made quite a big change. And as I said, this will be a very long cigar. I'll come back as many times as necessary to give you the update on flavor changes. So that's where we are at the 1-inch point. Well, we're about 3 inches in. Got about 4 inches remaining. This is about an hour into the cigar too. The sweet notes have really gone away. The nutmeg is still your predominant flavor. There are just hints of graham and really hints of grapefruit, but the sweetness has gone away from the cigar pretty much entirely. There are quite a bit of earthy notes to mix up with that predominant nutmeg. Everything else is about the same, but I don't know if those sweet notes will come back. Very possibly they'll cycle back around, and we'll find out. But as I said, this is a long cigar, time-wise. 1 hour in, still have about 4 inches remaining. So let's see where we go from here. Well, we got about 3 inches remaining, and the nutmeg notes have sort of changed back over to that grapefruit citrus. There are also some berry notes, some notes of some type of a berry, but it's very bland. The sweetness is not there yet. There's a touch more now, but not nearly to where it was when we began. The earthiness is still very much the bottom flavor also. Everything else is about the same. This cigar, we haven't even spoken about what strength it is. I would call it medium bodied. And is burning very evenly. Let me give you a time check. At this point, we're right at 1.5 hours in. So that's where we are at this point, and I'm still looking forward to those sweet notes coming back. Hopefully they will. There have been flashes of charred oak. There have been flashes of cocoa. Nothing that really sticks around very long, but I have gotten those notes in there recently from the last segment to this one. So that's about it for now. I'll be right back. We're very close to the end, only about 2 inches remaining. And there are notes now of the grapefruit citrus. Has a touch more sweetness to it, just a little bit. Underlying notes of nutmeg, and there are quite a bit of charred oak notes, which you can get those mixed in with the grapefruit citrus, and there's still that earthiness. Pepper remains very good. It's been very good throughout, and it's still what I would call a red pepper. And the finish is pretty much unchanged. The cigar is really close to medium to full bodied at this point. And at this point, we're about 2 hours in. So based on history, we've got about another 15 minutes or so left. I'll be back to wrap it up. Well, we're down to the end, so let's wrap it up. At this point, I'm about 2 hours and 40 minutes in. Very long cigar, as I knew it would be. Here at the end, I've got a little bit of the grapefruit citrus, a few hints of cedar, and a little charred oak on the front end. A little earthiness, but not nearly what we had before. Finish remained about the same. The cigar ended up medium to full bodied. I really enjoyed the flavors in this cigar. What it lacked was any significant sweetness to go along with those flavors, which you normally have with those type flavors. And that for me just kept it down a little bit. Now, this is the last in the series from Eddie. The Wild Bunch series has been very interesting, and every cigar has been a little different. And I invite you to look back on the blog and to check the various reviews. But this cigar, just while having good flavors, the lack of sweetness really held it down for me. All in all, a good cigar. I would like to try it again, but for me, this cigar is getting a score of 88. And it would have gotten much higher if it had any significant sweetness. It started that way, but it lost it very quickly. So the changing of flavors, it really was a little bit on the complex side because it changed so many times, but it just didn't have that sweetness. So there you have it. The Ortega Wild Bunch Crazy Jack Psycho 88.